The Control of Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Bill is back in Parliament as pressure mounts for government to pass it into law. This, as data by the Global Adult Tobacco Survey shows South Africa that e-cigarette use among the youth is on the rise, raising concerns about nicotine addiction and long-term health implications. I'm now joined by Professor Lekan Ayo-Yusuf, Director for Africa Center for Tobacco Industry Monitoring and Policy Research at the University of Pretoria's School of Health Systems and Public Health. A very good afternoon to you, Prof. Thanks very much for your time. Members of, earlier in the year, members of Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Health were at pains trying to explain, to all and sundry what this bill is about and what it is not about.
Good afternoon, viewer, and good afternoon to your viewers. Indeed, the bill, as you already said, is not about the ban of tobacco sales. And that misinformation is what needs to be corrected. As we know, historically, during COVID, there was a temporary ban. And the tobacco industry has actually used that to misinform public that this is what this is about. This is about regulating tobacco use and nicotine products and protecting future generation, particularly youth, who are usually impressionable and easy because their brains are still developing. The addiction is much easier, and that therefore the regulations are there to protect the next generation of South Africans.
There is, of course, also, the issue of illicit cigarettes. It's a big issue in this country as well, and the bill seeks to deal with that as well, isn't it?
Well, to the extent that the illicit cigarette issue is a fiscal issue within the space of the South African Revenue Service and the customs. The bill itself deals with other issues that are related to reducing the appeal of tobacco use itself to make it less attractive to use tobacco. For example, banning access to the ease of access, like banning vending machine dispensing for young people, making sure that you cannot smoke in public spaces and therefore protecting those who decided not to smoke, making sure that we have graphic warnings that puts a picture of the health impact. Even if you're not able to read a text, you can see that. And making sure that the display that you find in supermarkets, you want to go and buy bread, and usually these cigarettes are usually right behind the cashier. And it's intentional to make sure that even if you wanted to give up, once you see those cigarettes, you just get this cue to smoke again. So this is what this is about. We agree that the illicit is a problem, but the problem we have is that illicit cigarette market is actually driven by tobacco industry themselves. At currently just under 60% as estimated, it's impossible to bring in 60% of 32 billion sticks of cigarette through our borders. So they're actually coming from inside South Africa by tobacco manufacturers who refuses to pay taxes on those cigarettes.
Of course,
and it just requires government to act on this.
The tobacco industry is obviously unhappy, and the whole debate about health versus jobs has also come up.
Indeed, again, that's the misinformation. So for every 3 rand, every rand that is paid in taxes in revenue, the South African government loses 3 rand. So there are 42 billion rand that is spent on taking care of people who are sick, and the loss to those who die, who are not able to contribute to tax revenue, compared to the 12 billion rand that comes in from tobacco industry, from excise. By the way, that 12 billion does not come actually from the industry, comes through the industry, from the pocket of smokers. So this 12 billion, if it's not spent of cigarette, it can be spent on something else. And the industry is a non-labor intensive industry. So something else that the 12 billion can go to will be more labor intensive in the long run, actually create more jobs than the tobacco industry can create.
Of course, another matter that has become part of, not sort of, but which has become part of the debates is of course, vaping versus traditional tobacco smoking.
Indeed, the vaping or e-cigarettes that came into market about just over 10 years ago. We've been monitoring this, and I know when it came into the market, at some stage, the department sees a large consignment on the basis that this is not, it's regulated under the Medicine Control Act. And the industry then claimed that this is not for therapeutic. Therefore, it's not meant to help people stop smoking. For that reason, they actually won the case in court. 10 years down the line, they're now telling people it's going to help you to stop smoking. And we have shown in our study that it actually did not help people to stop smoking for long. For 3 months, yes. By 6 months, most of those people relapsed to smoking. And many continue to smoke while they're also using e-cigarettes. So there's really no, on the other hand, it's not helping smokers, but it's making young people who are never smokers or what we call nicotine naive pick up nicotine and become addicted. So it has become a bigger problem for public health than a solution for public health.
Now, as a keen observer of this process, what for you, or do you believe could still stand in the way of this bill eventually becoming law?
I think it's the political will. That's the only thing that can stand in the way. The evidence is there. 30,000 South Africans are dying every year. Every year that we do not pass this bill since 2018, we've lost 30,000 times 6 years. That is just too many people to allow to continue. It only requires the parliament or the government, the political will, to move ahead and make sure that they prioritize the health of South Africans over the profit of tobacco industry.
Prof, that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.